Hello and welcome back to Mr. Miller's Art Room. Today, in collaboration with Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we are going to be creating some Sumi-e bamboo shoots. Sumi-e ink painting is a Japanese painting art utilizing black ink made from soot from pine pitch. We are not going to be utilizing that kind of ink because it is permanent, and if we get it on our clothes, it's not coming out. However, we can get very similar effects utilizing either watercolors or black tempera paint. Today I'm going to be utilizing watercolors, but you can get the same effects either way. What we'll need is either a watercolor pack with a black paint well, or a paintbrush, a small plate with a dab of black tempera paint. You'll need a small cup or can of water, then one thicker sheet of 9 by 12 inch drawing paper for our painting. First, what you want to do is make sure that your brush is clean by pre-cleaning it first. You may be very good at cleaning your brush, but the person who used it before you may not have been. The first line we're going to practice is making a really broad line with the width of our brush. In Sumi-e ink painting, the way that you use your brush can change the kind of line that you create. The first line that we're going to create is a really thick line. Now, when you go into your watercolor or your paint, you may need to go around and around for a count of 5 to 10 seconds before your paint is black enough. But don't do it too long or your paint will turn into paste. Then, instead of holding your paintbrush like a pencil, what we're going to do is switch our hand and hold it to the side at the end of the brush. And what I want you to do is place your brush all the way on the paper on its side, and I want you to move all the way up like this. Then what I want you to do is practice moving your brush up, stopping, picking it up, putting it down right next to it, moving it up, stop, pick it up, put it down right next to it, and then move it up. Give your brush another quick dip in the paint. Don't spin it around too long. You don't need too much for this next step. We held it like this before. The next thing I want you to try is to turn your brush and hold it straight up and down. Not like a pencil where our brush is at a diagonal. We want it straight up and down. And what I want you to do is draw some very thin diagonal lines. If you draw a line and you see that the line breaks, don't try to fix it. You want to leave it there. Don't try to fix any of your lines, especially not these thicker lines right here. Try to make your line as thin as you can. The reason we hold it up and down like this is that we don't want to push down too hard and make our line too thick. Could we use this kind of a line somewhere in a painting? Sure, but not for our bamboo shoot. The next kind of line that I want you to practice, holding your brush straight up and down and very short horizontal lines like this. Do about 10 or 20 of them until you're really comfortable with making very short horizontal lines about as thick as your thumb. What I want you to do is give your brush one dip into the paint. Then the next maneuver we're going to use is to sort of press and flick. When we do this, we're going to hold our brush up and down and we're going to press in like so and flick toward ourselves. Press in, flick toward ourselves. And what you'll notice is that this brush mark makes a very thick line and it gets thinner as it comes to the end, like this. Practice a whole bunch of these, but don't go back to your paint because we want this paint to start to lose some of its pigment. Now that we have an entire page of practice, what I want you to do is take this paper and set it aside. We're going to get our big paper. Now, wash your brush out completely in your water. Go back and forth and make sure you're scrubbing your brush at the bottom of the water bucket. Give 3 gentle taps on the side of the can. 1, 2, 3. Then what I want you to do is get one big dip of black paint. One big dip. Don't go back to the paint for this next part. Hold your brush to the side. We're going to make 3 bamboo shoots. We're going to start at the bottom of the paper. We're going to use the side brush technique. We're going to move up and stop. Pick up your brush, move it up just a little bit. Not too far, not too close, just a little bit. Move it up in the same direction. Stop. Pick up your brush, put it back down, move it up, and we can go to the end of the paper. Don't go back to your brush, because what we're going to do is make 2 more bamboo segments. But as the paint gets lighter, it makes it look like the bamboo is going into the distance. As things get lighter, they look like they're further away. This is called atmospheric perspective. Okay, now that we've done our 3 bamboo shoots, what I want you to do, don't go back to the water. Take the tip of your brush, dip the tip of your brush into the black paint. In between each of these bamboo joints, we're going to use our horizontal line technique and just draw one thin, short, horizontal line in there. Now, what I want you to do is do a quick dip of water. Quick dip is just one quick dip of water. Don't let your paintbrush get too wet. Then what I want you to do is go back to your paint, give it 2 or 3 good spins. Then we're going to make the bamboo leaf shoots. The leaf shoots come from the joints, and they're very thin lines, so we're going to use some of the techniques that we used before in the practice paper. 1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 3. If you make a mistake, don't go back to try and fix it. 1, 2, maybe we'll do 1, maybe we'll do 1, 2, 3, 1. Don't do too many, don't do too few. But at the ends of these stems are going to be our leaves. And that's where our leaf press and flick technique comes into play. Let's not get any more paint on our brush. We'll use the paint that we already have. At the end of each of these, we're going to press and flick, press and flick, press and flick, and do this over and over again until we have a couple of leaves on each end. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And finally, if you want to get super fancy about it, you can take your brush, wash your brush nice and clean. Give it a good scrub, because we don't want any black left in there. We're going to go to our red paint, and we're going to put our little seal on there. And our seal is going to show that this is us that did this artwork. And what we're going to do for our seal are our initials. Our initials are just the first letter of our first name and the first letter of our last name. My first name starts with an R, and my last name starts with an M. Thank you all very much for participating, and I hope you really enjoyed this lesson. I cannot wait to see your bamboo shoots. Thank you very much, and for Mr. Monocle and I, we say good day.
We said good day.